Welcome back to Endangered Species Spotlight. This week we are talking about Hine's emerald dragonfly. This is the Hine's emerald dragonfly. It's native to a bunch of wetland areas in the United States as well as in Canada. Now, it is listed as endangered, but some sources say least concern, but it is considered to be endangered. We do have a vague population estimate of between 20 and 30,000 of them, which seems like a lot, but in the grand scheme of insects, where insects are so small and so abundant everywhere, that isn't a whole lot, so it is cause for concern having that kind of population level. However, the population does seem to be stable. It's not increasing or decreasing, which is good. I mean, ideally it would be increasing due to the fact that these are endangered, but not decreasing is definitely a good thing. We do not want the population to be decreasing actively. Some of the main threats to the Hine's emerald dragonfly include habitat loss due to the destruction of wetlands to make way for farms and cities and all that. So lots of the native wetlands are being destroyed, which is a problem for many species, not just this dragonfly specifically. There's also the issue of habitat fragmentation, where even if the habitat isn't 100% destroyed, it is still broken up into smaller bits, which causes many problems for reproduction because the two populations can't really mix that well, so they get isolated and tend to interbreed, which causes so many problems. Because yes, while these dragonflies can fly and they're known for being relatively good flyers, they are still also very small. So if there's a significant distance between the two populations, then it's very unlikely that they're going to travel between the populations and exchange genes. So they tend to stay within their very small habitat area, which has been fragmented by many things. The same thing with many invertebrate species. They also are very susceptible to environmental contaminants such as pollution from cars and factories and all that. Bugs don't do great with environmental contaminants, so pollution is also a big problem for them. It's also a very big problem for wetlands in general. They also do face significant threats from invasive species, but not the type of invasive species that you may be thinking. Now, there is competition from invasive dragonflies and other insect predators, but kind of the large invasive species that are mainly causing problems for them are things that you wouldn't expect, like beavers and wild hogs. So the kind of biggest threats of invasive species to the dragonflies are larger foraging animals like beavers, armadillos, hogs that contribute a lot to the destruction of the already small and destroyed habitat that they live in. When there's a large amount of big foraging animals, like a pack or herd or whatever of feral hogs that go through the delicate wetland ecosystem, they can wreak havoc, especially if they're not native to that area, so the ecosystem can't really recover that well to an invasion of giant hogs. Or if a beaver comes and builds a dam into a place that aren't equipped for beavers, that kind of floods the area and then stops flow in other areas, which again destroys the habitat. So yeah, habitat destruction is really coming at these guys from all angles. Now, fortunately, the dragonflies are considered to be protected species in both the United States and Canada. There are quite a few conservation efforts, including making the wetlands that they live in a protected area, which is good for them as well as many other species that live in the wetlands. There are a decent few conservation efforts going on to save them, which is great, love to see it, and protecting wetlands as a whole is a great thing because they're a very big source of biodiversity, and we really do not want our wetlands to be destroyed. So yeah, very cool little dragonfly. I love dragonflies, and there will be links to links to the conservation efforts in the comments like usual.